Alrighty, what up there, YouTube peeps? Hope you all having a great day, or had a great day actually. Um, let's see. Pow. I had no idea what I was gonna talk about today, but I guess I'll talk about Mr. Chevy. You remember Mr. Chevy? I mentioned him earlier. This guy, man, never a dull moment with this guy. Actually, it's all really dull, and I try to make the best of it. This freaking guy. I guess last night there happened to have been a reveal on the new Corvette, and this guy was like super excited about this, and he's telling me all the specs, and it's a mid-engine, whatever the hell, and he's saying that that it's a steel. It's gonna be faster than a Lamborghini or whatever, and a Maserati, and faster than a McLaren, and it's a steal because it's gonna be sold for under 60,000. And I'm like, I cringe so hard talking with this guy sometimes, because this guy, all right, listens to the 80s music. He goes hardcore with the 80s music. He goes hardcore with the he's a hardcore wrestling fan. This guy's like 23 and he watches wrestling like hardcore, and he knows that it's all scripted, but for some reason he just loves the drama and all that stuff. And he's got 2 Camaros and a Hummer. He's got like 2 car payments. He lives at home, and it's definitely cringeworthy. Like, and I'm like, oh, so you're getting this Corvette? And he's like, nah, I'm a Camaro guy. I don't like Corvettes. And I'm like, well then, what's the big hype? Why are you so excited about it? And he's like, cause it's a steal, man, cause it's a steal. And I'm like, to who? Like, nobody needs all that power. He's like, yes, they do. I says, well, if everybody needed that power, then that type of power would be in every car. Like, he says, oh, says the guy with the soccer mom van. I'm like, whatever, man. Like, my car gets me to point A, point B when I'm in a band, or if I'm DJing. Like, it gets me in all my gear, like, to where I need to be, and it holds my equipment around. You know, sometimes I'm lugging around with like anywhere between 400 and 600 pounds in my car, and it takes me, you know. This guy's talking about a small car with like virtually no room in there. Like, you can't do anything with a Camaro or a Corvette. And he's saying, oh, it's a steal. Like, oh man, it's a great thing. Like, I don't know why anybody would spend 200,000 on a Lamborghini when they could just get a Corvette. And I'm like, well, that's luxury. It's not practicality. It's luxury. That's what those vehicles are all about. Luxury. And he said, oh yeah, there are luxurious things. Like, they're made for luxury. That you could choose between like 4 colors on the body and 7 different interior colors. You could choose to have carbon fiber on this and that. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing with your life, man? Why does this stuff matter to you? Like, you're punching the clock every day, doing your time at work, and you got a crazy fast car. You got two fast cars with all this work done to it for what? For no reason. He's like, oh yeah, I raced them. And I'm like, where? You take them to the track? you're known, you know, like, you should make a YouTube channel. You should actually, you know, become something. And he's like, nah, man. I says, you're not known. You're not doing anything with your cars, man. Like, how about you make a name for yourself and take your stuff out to tracks and take your stuff out to places where it matters. Like, you don't have somebody from California like, oh, I heard this person from so-and-so, man, that dude's a beast, like, you don't want to touch him. No, nobody knows who you are, dude. Like, this guy. Crazy dude. So Mr. Chevy, he's like 23, he's gonna be 24. He's dating this 30-year-old with a child, and I'm like, dude, like, you're wasting your youth, man. You're wasting it. You should be out there rocking out and doing your thing, man. Whatever that means to him, he should be doing it. Because being tied up in that type of relationship and living at home and having 2 car payments, one of which you're paying on a Hummer that crapped out on you, like, this guy's nuts, man. I just passed a party bus. I wonder what type of party's going on in there. Well, anyway, this guy, I told this guy he should, you know, get out of that relationship. Oh, this is another thing. He tells me that cougars are into him. Like, I'm talking about 50-year-olds and plus, you know? And I'm like, yo, dude, like, you should just get a couple of sugar mamas and money in your pocket. You'll have a crazy Camaro collection, one from every generation you could imagine. And he's like, nah, man. Like, you're wasting it. You're wasting it. I don't know. I even asked him, what are you getting out of this relationship that you can't live without? He said, oh, I don't know. He says, he gave me some bogus excuse. And he's like, you'll never know, man. You'll never know. Just like brushing me off like that. And then, what else? Today, that was yesterday, and then today, I asked him, like, yo, what are your goals in life? What do you have dreams? Do you have dreams? Like, what are your dreams? What are you hoping for, you know, later on down the line? And he says, well, who are you? And I'm like, I'm your freaking life coach, man. Like, I says, what, you ain't got no ambitions, man? Come on, dude. He's just, like, wasting his money on these cars. And so we did the calculations, and he's, like, paying somewhere about, like, $700-800 a month just for these cars. And who knows how much money he's spending on gas on 3 vehicles. This guy, man, like, I hate to be one of those guys that that used to talk some crap in my ear when I was younger. They used to tell me, like, oh, you don't know nothing, you ain't got no real bills. Like, I don't like to make age a thing and responsibilities a thing, you know, because people judge realness, I guess, you know, realness and maturity and your age based on your bills and what your current living situation is like. Listen, man, to me, age is just, you know, it's just a number. I'll respect anybody as long as they respect me. There's no reason to have to put somebody down just because where they're at in life and what their financial responsibilities are, you know. But at the same time, I feel like it's gotta be a responsibility of somebody like myself to pass it down to someone like him and say, yo, dude, you need to get your priorities straight, man. Like, I could see if he went out and purchased a pickup truck or a full-size SUV, you know, maybe then you'll be planning for like your future, and like, this is the car that I'm gonna have for a long time, and if and when I decide to have a family, you know, this can facilitate my needs for, you know, my everyday errands and, you know, whatever I gotta do in life. But Camaros, like, what are you gonna do with that? Hummers, I'm not a big fan of those, but, you know, I guess, you know, you can troop around with your family in that, but, oh man, I'm not big on Hummers because there are these big vehicles for no reason. You got this crazy dexterity. Maybe you might have a reason for it, maybe not. Maybe you like to go mudding on the weekends. Maybe the weather conditions in your area requires it. But I'm not a big fan of them. They're huge. They have very little space on the inside. They have these little microwave windows. I love this car. Like, big windows. You could see eight people in here comfortably. There's been plenty of times where I like crammed a bunch of my friends in here and we went out to the beach or to a lake, or I don't know. One time we all went to crammed a bunch of my friends in here and we all went into an abandoned mental asylum for children. This thing's called Letchworth. If you don't know what Letchworth is, I recommend you do some research. Go on YouTube. There's a couple of videos out there. But I do recommend that if you do decide to go out there, be careful. You never know who's camping out in there, and they're looking for someone like you to just, you know, do some harm or scare the crap out of you. Letchworth Village. It's been abandoned since '96. I don't know how I got from Mr. Chevy and his crazy choice of cars to Letchworth, but Letchworth Village, you need to check it out. It's crazy. I don't believe that it's really haunted, but there's some thrill and excitement there, you know? It's on this piece of property that's about like maybe 110 acres. It's been abandoned since '96. The place was poorly ran. They misused or they were underfunded, and kids were walking around naked. This place has a school. It has a hospital, a morgue. It has a cemetery where sadly these kids were buried with tombstones that just had numbers on them, no names, no nothing. Sad, but it was a crazy sight to see. Letchworth Village. Anyway, I love this vehicle. I really wish I could have afforded like a Chevy Tahoe or a Suburban or something, but those type of cars, they're not really practical in New York City. Parking is ridiculous. this SUV offers the most bang for the buck. You know, like I would say this is probably like a mid-size SUV. It's a little bit bigger than what I had the last time, the Honda Passport. It's a little bit, slightly bigger, but more seating. Crazy. I totally recommend it. One thing I don't like about this so much is that my last truck, the Honda Passport, it was more like a small size SUV. But you tap the gas and you were flying. This one, you really got to lean into the accelerator to really give you the power that you need. It drives more like a minivan. And as for what Mr. Chevy tells me about his Hummer, his H3, that also drives like a minivan. Like, you really got to lean into the accelerator for it to give you the power you need. But yeah, Mr. Chevy, man, this guy, never a dull moment with this guy. I actually got a bit of overtime for this guy, helping this guy. This guy had a crazy spill where he dropped the dumpster, and he came to me probably 45 minutes before the end of the shift and told me about it. And now normally I would just jump right into action and help him out, but this guy was BSing all day. Like, he left his clerical work to be done way at the end of the shift, and you know, up to this point, the 45-minute mark. And I'm like, dude, handle your clerical work, and you know, then get to that cleaning. And this guy, man, 10 minutes before the end of the shift, a supervisor comes up to me and is like, yo, you're needed in the back. And I get back there, and Mr. Chevy is like panicking. He's doing all the wrong things, and I just feel like he could have handled it way better. He should have been way more efficient with his time, way more efficient with the time he allowed himself to clean up this situation. But you know, he doesn't have that mentality that I was telling you about, you know, the other day. You know, practicality and efficiency. Like, not everybody's up on it. You know, you got to be about that life. As soon as I got back there, I sprung into action and I started doing crazy maneuvers. I pulled my forks together on my forklift and started using it as like a shovel, and started, you know, shoveling up stuff. That stuff, I hope I don't have to get chelation, but that stuff is hazardous material, and I went into it today without a respirator, and I hope I don't have any serious medical problems in the days to come. But yep, I'm doing my thing, yo. You know what I mean? I picking up my daughter now, and then I'm heading home. And got a long night ahead of me. My parents are visiting tomorrow, and I gotta clean up the house. And you know, for you people out there that might have grown up in a Caribbean household, you know that your parents expect the house to be super clean, like no BS, you know. And so I gotta clean up all the baby stuff. I gotta clear off the coffee table and the dining room table. You know what happens with these surfaces. You know, you get lazy and you start piling up mail and, you know, your everyday bags. Let's say you went shopping, Old Navy had a discount, so you're gonna go stock up on stuff, and when you get home, you just plop it on the dining room table. that's what happens, you know. So I gotta clean tonight. So hopefully tomorrow I have some time to film and check up with you guys. Hopefully you remember to check up with me. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Peace out.